Hi, my name is Emily and welcome to Secret Parents. In today's video, I'm excited to be sharing a little bit of a different style video. As you can tell, I'm in a different area than I normally am. Normally I'm upstairs in what I like to call my crochet area. But today I'm downstairs in the living room and I wanted to share a little bit more of a vlog style video. Typically whenever I do vlogs, I'm down here because this is where I end up crocheting most of the time. So anyway, last year when I released the octopus pattern, I shared a vlog at the week after that of making the jumbo octopus, and I also made a mini octopus in that vlog. And so I figured with the release last week of this adorable little bee, I figured I would this week share the making a jumbo bee. So because it's near Valentine's Day, I'm going to be using the pink and red color, so it's more Valentine Day colors. And I'll be using Hobbii Honey Bunny yarn, which hopefully you guys can see. There we go. And this is a little bit of a thinner yarn. It technically is a number, where does it say? A number 6 super bulky weight yarn, but it is a little bit thinner than the Bernat blanket yarn that I used for this. So normally I would use 2 strands of Bernat blanket yarn to equal 1 strand of this. So I'm thinking, because with this octopus I use 2 strands of Bernat blanket yarn, I'm thinking of using 3 or possibly 4 strands of each of these colors, and using a 10mm hook, because that's what I did for this octopus. I used 2 strands of Bernat blanket yarn and a 10mm hook, so I'm thinking of using 3 or 4 strands of Honey Bunny yarn with a 10mm hook. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little swatch, and I'll meet you back and show you how the swatch turned out. Alright, so I just finished 2 little swatches. So I made a swatch with 3 strands and a 10mm hook. And let me show you, 1 second. There we go. So I like how it turned out pretty well. You can see if you stretch it, which it tends to be how it turns out in the end, there's a little bit of gapping, but not much. And then I tried also a little swatch with 4 strands. And when you do 4 strands, it becomes pretty bulky. So I'm not sure exactly what's my favorite. You can kind of see that's how it looks versus this. It kind of is fun to me to seem super bulky and like it'll be a lot bigger of a bee. Oh, but I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm going to do 4 strands. Just kind of make it a super bulky jumbo bee. So I'm going to use 4 strands. Now, again, like I mentioned before, if you're using Bernat blanket yarn, you can use 2 strands and it'll equal 4 strands of Honey Bunny yarn. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 10mm hook, 4 strands of Honey Bunny yarn. And so I'm going to go ahead and begin now working on the body. So I'm going to start with my adorable little pattern. I'm going to start working on the body. We start from the back end, the bottom, and work all the way to the head. And we do black, yellow. And so for this, I'm probably going to be doing red, yellow, or not red, yellow, sorry, red, pink, red, pink, red, pink, red, and then pink head, I think is what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this, and I'll meet you back in a little bit once I've gotten a little ways and show you how it's looking. Okay, I honestly just changed my mind. So I had said that I was going to use 4 strands with the 10mm hook, and I just changed my mind because I got 2 rows in, as you can see, and I ended up finding that it was so thick, it's hard to get my hook into, and it's just not the most fun to work with. So I'm deciding I'm going to use 3 strands, and I think it will be just fine and turn out just about exactly like this octopus did with 2 strands of Bernat blanket yarn. So I'm going to go ahead, take out this little bit that I worked on and change it to 3 strands of Honey Bunny yarn or 2 strands of Bernat blanket yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little bit out, and I will meet you back and kind of give you an update on what my thoughts are in a little bit. Okay, so I just worked on the first 2 rounds. I ended up realizing that I was starting with pink, light pink, and I didn't want to do that because then the head would be red, and I didn't want the head to be red. So this is how it is looking. It's kind of different. I'm not sure if I'll ever do a Valentine's Day beat again, but I figured it'd be kind of fun, at least if nothing else, for filming. So yeah, this is how it's looking. I'm really happy that I decided to do 3 strands instead of 4 strands. 4 strands was just too many, and it was really hard to work with, and so 3 strands has been way better. And so if you're using honey bunny yarn or a thinner number 6 bulky weight, super bulky weight yarn, I definitely would recommend just using 3 strands, not 4. So yeah, I'm really happy with the 10mm hook as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep working, and I'll meet you back in a little bit. It's gotten kind of dark outside, so I apologize for the kind of more yellow lighting, but I wanted to come on and give you a little update on how my bee is turning out. So I'm using the 3 strands, I'm using the 10mm hook, and this is how it looks so far. So it's the pink with the red, and I just finished the body. Now I'm going to begin the head. So we do the head just working out of this body part. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using the newer to me changing color method, and you can see that if I spin it, you cannot tell at all where, or almost at all. It's pretty well hidden where the where I'm doing the color changes. So yeah, I'm liking it pretty good. It's a little bit different, not normally what I would do, but it's kind of fun. So I'm going to now work on finishing up making the head, and I'll attach the safety eyes, and then I'll meet you back in a little bit and show you my progress. Alright, so I'm back. It's the next day, and last night I worked on finishing up the head. So remember, I came on last night and showed you that I had finished the body, and then I was going to start the head. So you can see this is how the head turned out. And I closed off this, the front. So I used 14mm safety eyes. I tried 16mm safety eyes, but I ended up finding that they looked a little bit too big on the head, so I used 14mm safety eyes, and I need to tie in these tails because otherwise it looks a little funny, but that's how it is currently looking. Then I also made the wings this morning. So I tried making, so in the original pattern I used 7mm hook for the body, and then a 4.5mm hook for the wings and the antenna. So with this pattern I used, or when I'm making it bigger, I used a 10mm hook for the body and 3 strands of honey bunny yarn. And then I was thinking of using a 7mm hook because that's just about the same amount less for millimeters. So I was thinking of using a 7mm hook and 2 strands of Bernat blanket yarn. So I tried making that, and you can see this is how it turned out, the wing. Now, when I made this, I was pretty happy with it, but I felt like it looked too big compared to the body. Whoops. So the body is this, and I felt like the wing took up the whole body. And you can kind of see it better in person, but the wing just looked too big. It just looked kind of ridiculous. So I decided I would use the same 7mm hook and just use 1 strand. So instead of, let me show you the comparison. Here we go. So instead of, this is 1 strand and this is 2 strands. You can see, oh, that's how they look. So I decided to use the 1 strand, and so I made 2 wings, and now I need to attach them, which is super, super simple to attach. So I just wanted to show them before I attached them onto the body. And you can see when I attach it, it will look super duper cute. Let me show you how it will end up looking. So these are both the 1 strand wings, and I just like the proportion, how, yeah, they're better proportionately to the body. So they look better on the body than this rather massive looking wing looks. So anyway, I decided with this wing, and so now I'm going to go ahead and sew these wings onto the body. And then I'm going to make the antenna. I think I'm going to use the red yarn for the antenna. And I'm going to use 2 strands and a 7mm hook, because that's typically what I find is about right for compared to Bernat blanket yarn. So normally with the Bernat blanket yarn, the original Bee, I use a 4.5mm hook and 1 strand of yarn. But I find that about 2 strands of honey bunny yarn equals just about 1 strand of Bernat blanket yarn. So I'm going to use 2 strands and the 7mm hook. And so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make that and sew the wings on, and I'll meet you back in a little bit. Alright, so I just sewed on the wings, and then I sewed on this, I made and sewed on its adorable little antenna. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to notice, but I did little hearts on the top of the antenna. So I'm going to put in the blog post in the free blog post that I wrote for how to crochet the adorable little bee, I'm going to put a little modification for how to do the heart wing. So if you want the actual instructions, I'll put those in the blog post, and I'll put the link right as the first link in the description box down below. But basically all I did is with this one I just did chain 7, double crochet in second chain from hook, and then slip stitch in the remaining chains. With this one I did chain 7, double crochet in the second chain from hook, then slip stitch into that same chain, and then do another double crochet into that same chain, and then slip stitch into the remaining stitches. So I just did more stitches into that into the second chain from the hook. So you can see that's how it looks, super cute. Now, one thing is, once I finished putting the wings on and the antenna on, I thought of, so you can see this is how the wings look. I thought of, when I originally designed my first bee, this is how it turned out. And then I redesigned it to be this, but my first wings were kind of more of a heart shape, as you can see. So I was thinking I should maybe make heart shape wings for this bee. So I might try taking these out, or just grabbing some more cream yarn and making some heart shaped wings. Not that I don't like these, but just because it might be kind of fun and more Valentine Day like. So yeah, I'm going to try to make that. I'm going to just experiment, and then I'll meet you back and show you how it turned out. And if I do end up doing the heart wings, I'll put that also in the blog post. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try making heart wings, and then I'll meet you right back and show you how it turned out. And for now, I'm just going to show you this adorable little heart antenna. So, alright, bye. Alright, so I just finished making the more heart-shaped looking wing. Now, it's not a precise heart, but it does look a little bit more of a heart shape. So I think I'm going to do it. Let me show you. You guys can comment down below and tell me which one's your favorite. But when I do, actually I'd love to hear what your favorite is. But when I go like this, you can see there's the heart-shaped one, and then there's where it's pulled back. I think I'm going to do the more heart-shaped looking one because it's a Valentine's Day bee, so it needs to look festive, I'll say. But yeah, so I'm going to make the second wing, and then I will show you how it's looking. Alright, so I just finished up. Now, I do still have tails, obviously, but this is how it turned out. So I decided to do the heart wings like I mentioned before. And you can see that this one's not wanting to stay up very well, but I'm going to sew that on a little bit better then. Yeah, this is how it turned out. I like it a lot. I think it's kind of fun and a little bit different. You can see it's a pretty good heart shape. And so yeah, I like how it turned out a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and tie my tails, and then I'll meet you back and we'll close out this video together. Alright, so I officially finished the bee, and I actually love how it turned out. I think it's really fun, kind of different, but just a fun little jumbo bee. Let me show you the original size bee so that you can kind of get a little comparison. Here is the original size bee, and its antenna is all wonky. Here we go. There we go. So you can see there's the larger bee compared to the, let me go like this. There is the original size bee and the larger bee. Yeah, so it turned out, I would say, a decent amount larger. If I line it up, that's where it would end up. So yeah, I like them both. I think they're both really fun. I hope this vlog was fun, and I hope you enjoyed seeing how I create kind of a whole different pattern or a whole different size pattern based on the original pattern. So I hope this gave you some inspiration either to make a larger size bee, or if nothing else, just some ideas on how you can always change up the pattern that the designer wrote to make it something that you more value or want. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!